What's going on, my fellow rock and rollers? Don't forget to hit the bell notification icon to be notified every time I put out a new video on my channel. Prior to the Millenium, musician Moby was down on himself. He thought of himself as a failure, and it may be hard for some to believe, but he was on a commercial and critical losing streak for half a decade, starting in 1996, but by 2001, he was back on top. Moby's fourth album, 1996's Animal Rights, was a commercial and critical flop. Up until this point in Moby's career, he had built his reputation on electronic music. Animal Rights found him diving into punk rock and more guitar-driven songs, and some called Moby a sellout, while others saw this move as a way for Moby to pay homage to his 80s punk rock roots. In 1999, his follow-up record Play would be released, and it would be a colossal flop initially. It would only peak at number 33 on the charts, and sold a measly 6,000 copies in its first week in the UK. But by 2001, the album was now moving 150,000 copies a week, and would go on to sell 12 million copies worldwide, making it the largest selling electronica album of all time. Play would go on to be hailed as one of the greatest albums of the decade, with Rolling Stone magazine going as so far as placing the album on its 500 greatest albums of all time list. So what changed? How did this happen? Stay tuned to find out. Moby became a techno wunderkind with his third record, 1995's Everything Is Wrong. People eagerly awaited his follow-up album, 1996's Animal Rights, which was a gut punch to his fans. Moby grew tired of electronic music and was disappointed with critics not taking his music more seriously, and the end result was Animal Rights. Moby's manager would remember how the public seemed to write Moby off as a one-hit wonder, remembering, "We found ourselves struggling for even the slightest bit of recognition. He became a has-been in the eyes of a lot of people in the industry," he'd say. And despite the poor sales and critical reception, Moby promoted Animal Rights with a European tour, opening for both the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Soundgarden. Moby at one point considered quitting the music industry altogether and becoming an architect, but it would be his peers in the music industry who convinced him to carry on, as he would tell an interviewer, "I was opening for Soundgarden and getting shit thrown at me every night on stage. I did my own tour and was playing to roughly 50 people a night. I got a phone call from Axl Rose saying he was listening to Animal Rights on repeat. Bono told me he loved Animal Rights, so if you're going to have pieces of fan mail, that's the fan mail to get," he'd remember.
How did you feel about getting props from Axl Rose about Animal Rights?
It was really odd. So I got Axl Rose told me that he loved that album, and Joe Strummer told me that he loved it. Wow. And this is the funniest thing, I got a piece of fan mail. Remember one piece of fan mail that I got for Animal Rights, and it was from Terence Trent D'Arby.
Wow.
And it was a handwritten letter from Terence Trent D'Arby on Terence Trent D'Arby official stationery, which was vaguely purple, and just saying like how much he appreciated that I had made this record. And I've never met Terence Trent D'Arby, but so even though the record sold terribly and was critically maligned, Bono really liked it. So Bono, Joe Strummer, Axl Rose, and Terence Trent D'Arby all seem to like that record.
I don't know what's more random, the fact that you got a handwritten note from Terence or the fact that you know Axl Rose.
Following Animal Rights, Moby would release his follow-up record, 1999's Play, which harkened back to his earlier sound. Play was the first in history to have every song licensed to advertisers, TV shows, and movies. Thankfully for Moby, his electronic music with ambient soundscapes and minimalistic or vague lyrics could take on a variety of meanings, which meant it was the perfect fit for both advertisers and Hollywood. Moby and his management team were able to successfully license and relicense the same tracks over and over again to a variety of buyers, including low to high-end car makers, home appliance companies, and even coffin polishers and electric dog grooming equipment rental companies. At the end of the day, this resulted in several good things for Moby, including large sums of money coming his way, him getting more exposure, and his album Play moving up the charts. The brains behind the whole operation was Moby's management team, which was made up of a pair of people named Marcy Weber and Barry Taylor. The groundwork was laid long before Play came out, when one of his songs, named God Moving Over the Face of the Waters, was licensed for the 1995 film Heat, where it's used in the climax of the movie. The song resonated well with Hollywood's music departments, so his management team already had connections with the movie industry. Up until this point in time, radio was largely ignoring Moby, as he had alienated a lot of his longtime fans with Animal Rights, so his management team needed to come up with an idea that bypassed FM radio. The pair kicked things off by throwing a free listening party at the Slam Dance Film Festival, and Moby's management team soon started taking meetings with indie film studios and other businesses that record labels and publishers had previously glossed over or ignored. Their strategy soon started to pay off as companies one by one started lining up to license music from Play, with clothing store Nordstrom, Bailey's Irish Cream, as well as Volkswagen licensing the track Porcelain, while American Express licensed Find My Baby, and the list would go on and on as Moby was soon showing artists how to make money in a future where record sales were dwindling. The strategy lied in owning your own songs and publishing and licensing out your music. Within a year of Play coming out, all of the 18 tracks on the album were licensed in some official way, with the final unlicensed track titled 7 finding a buyer in a British indie production company. Following the massive success of Play, record labels and their marketing people would start listening closer to their artists' albums and determining which songs could be licensed to Hollywood or advertisers. No longer did record labels or their artists have to worry about the chart position of their albums, as now there was another route to recoup their costs and make money. It wasn't long before declining industries started to develop a savior complex about music licensing. Moby, for his part, was quickly branded a sellout for licensing his music to every type of medium, but he would respond to AmericanSongwriter.com saying, "It's a misleading truth. Yes, every song was licensed, but some of the songs were licensed to tiny independent film productions that were never seen by anyone. One of the songs was licensed for an Australian student film by some guy in college in Sydney," he'd say. And Moby would contend that he had almost no input on how his music was used in ads, but he did have a moral compass claiming he would never allow tobacco companies or fast food chains like McDonald's or Burger King to use his music. Possibly him being a vegan had something to do with that. Now, regarding this sellout accusation, he would claim that there's no such thing as selling out, as he points to jaded schoolboys, hipster douches, and holier-than-thou punks saying in the same interview, "In the early 80s, I played in a hardcore punk band, and the term sellout was tossed around quite a lot. There were some really hardcore anarchist punks who believed that if you charged money for a show, you were a sellout. And there were people who believed that if you made a 7-inch record, you were a sellout. Basically, every musician who is involved in the commercial exploitation of music is ostensibly a sellout. I eventually realized how absurd that was," he'd say. Looking back, Moby claims that he would license his music from Play all over again, claiming that money was never the motivating factor, but rather how he would get his music to the masses. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Personally, I forgot as a kid just how many video games and movies I came across in my youth had Moby's music, including FIFA 2001, Gone in 60 Seconds, and Test Drive, which come to my mind. So that does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe, and put your suggestions for future topics in the comment section below. Take care.